You ready for more Best Girl? Happy Mushoku Mondays, everybody. Welcome back to yet another track of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation novel series. I should say manga series. We are on Roxy Gets Serious, Volume 3 and 4, Part 2 of this series of Roxy Gets Serious. And my gosh, I had a lot of fun last week. I think last week, Roxy Gets Serious went a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I was very nervous on how the recording would go. It ended up being a lot more that I was going to talk about than I originally thought. Like, I was thinking 20 minutes. I think in 20 minutes and it turns into almost an hour. There was a lot to talk about, and I just really love talking about Roxy. Now, the cool thing is last week, I still wasn't sure about how much would be discussed, but I did know that we pretty much covered everything that we knew about Roxy's past. Well, pretty much everything except for, like, Labyrinth running and, going to the university, that stuff. But we pretty much had everything that we knew about her past in those first two volumes. So I was excited to see what we would get into next. And sure enough, Volume 3 and 4 were super juicy. I was not expecting to get this good of stuff out of this series, and all my complaints about the first part, which was pretty much like not getting into the mental state of the characters and stuff like that, here it is. We're getting discrimination. We're getting into, the idea of pretty much exposing different tribes and causing a massacre to happen. Roxy's first kill. Yep, we're going to get into Roxy's first kill, which not the one that we've talked about quite yet, that was talked about in the mainline series, but it was a little bit shocking. It was a little bit of a shocker, so that's going to be some good stuff to get into. But before we do that, hey chat, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday after Mushoku Monday. I greatly appreciate you guys' kind words, your support, all that stuff. You guys join me for this entire journey, all the ups and downs. I greatly appreciate it. And yes, greatly appreciate everybody supports down monetary through Patreon, tips, links, super thanks, memberships, all that stuff. Thank you. It means a great deal to me that you guys part with your hard-earned money in order to keep this going. But yes, last week we had Red Bandit with a super, Orsted with 30 months at this point, Stubber with a super, Roy's Moik with 30 months as well, and Gearless last week during the live stream with a massive super. I always greatly appreciate you guys' support, all that stuff. Thank you. You guys are absolutely amazing. But that said, let's just dive into it. I actually was thinking earlier, of these two covers, I'm going to do like comparisons every single week. Like, of these two covers, I like 4. I like the 4 design. Like, 3 is cute. That's super cute, but like, that looks more like Roxy. I love the design, everything, the detail and everything. Super cute. But before we get into 3 and 4, I do want to talk about, yes, a little Vlad Conte. Vlad Conte last week. I was pretty sure it was Bloody Can't. I just wasn't. I was assuming that she was using an alias or something like that. But yes, it turns out the version that I was using, because I of course have these physical ones, and technically, to their credit, 7 Seas had it right. They had Bloody Kanto. But apparently the translation that I was using digitally in order to get the pictures and everything for the stream, and you could probably have seen it when it was scrolling on the screen, it was saying Vlad Conte. And again, I assumed it was like a alias or something like that. But no, it's supposed to be Buradi Kanto is the Japanese spoken way, and apparently it's supposed to be Bloody Kant. Yes, I wasn't sure if it was going to be Bloody Can't, and I think I've had that confusion back when I was, rating the mainline series. Every time it came up was, is it Can't? Is it the other one? I'm a horrible English speaker. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff, but yeah, that's the mix-up there. Yes, last week I was saying Vlad. It's technically supposed to be Bloody. I get why they had the translation wrong. I mean, again, in the original text, it's Buradi Kanto. And so it's like, how do you translate that? Buradi kind of sounds like a Vlad. Buradi. But it's supposed to be bloody. But that aside, it doesn't matter that much. We all, I think everybody in the chat, everybody watching this knew it was going to be Bloody Kant. A traveling person that likes to write about different cultures, it's probably going to be them. It was just like, again, question mark was it an alias? So, again, confirmation here, it is in fact them. They're not using an alias. They're straight up called Can't. So, that all said, that clarification out of the way. We're all good. Everybody's on the same page here. Let's dive into 3 and 4 because, my gosh, there's a whole bunch to get into, and I'm kind of expecting this might go longer. Just to give you an idea, I have like 4 times as many pages of notes. That's how much I want to get into. But we'll see. I might be able to cover it quickly and just not have that much yapping. But let's just dive into it. We left off last time, Roxy was at Milshin. And of course was already facing the issue with a demon being in Milshin. the fact that, yes, everybody there is racist. They're discriminatory. It's not really racist, like discriminatory against, I mean, it's the same thing. It's a discrimination against the demon folk specifically, because it looks like the beast folk are fine there, and that's kind of what we got a sense of in the mainline series as well, but not doing too well here. Of course, having a lot of problems paying for stuff, getting charged extra and everything like that. She eventually goes to the guild in order to claim her reward for the, escorting of the beast folk girl. And this is the interesting thing. This is what I was talking about last week, right? I was like, I wonder if possibly the guild will cover her expenses. A lot of jobs and whatnot will cover expenses for travel. Well, with this situation, they didn't want to pay for all the toll fees. She's like, hey, I got charged a whole bunch for tolls. Are you guys going to cover that? And the lady's like, legit, no, we're not going to cover that. Travel expenses ought to be no more than 30% of the reward per their policy. It kind of gave a sense with the guild lady, and this is again goes to the previous Mushoku Monday, where we talked a little bit about how the guild ladies and whatnot, the receptionists, they're not supposed to pay favoritism. They're supposed to be very, very neutral. So there's an element here where this lady's probably being very cold because she's not supposed to go, oh, well, yeah, because you're a demon, that really sucks. Okay, let's see if we can help you out. No, she's very cold, like, no, per the policy, we're not doing that. But it can also be an aspect where the potential of this, receptionist is like, shut up, demon. Get out of here, demon. Because she even goes so far as to say, are you really sure they were actually guards? Like, it's probably your fault. I mean, you want me to believe you? Like, are you sure who you talked to, who got the money out of you? Are you sure they were actually guards? Or was it somebody who swindled you? And now you want us to pay for it? That kind of thing. But yeah, we see more of the discrimination as Roxy's trying to find a job, and it looks like a lot of the quests are human only. They don't even want demons to get involved with them, so there's a whole problem there. But eventually, we get to meet Maver. I think her name is pronounced Maver. Maver? I think it's Maver. But we get to meet Maver, another demon. We have another demon in the area, and immediately she's like, hey, are you from Rikarsu? hey, do you know about the sheep's hoof shop? Oh, it's there? Yeah, that's my folks. I'm so glad they're doing well and everything. But yes, we get to meet this cute, like, sheep lady, and yes, she's really hot. We get to meet another demon folk that's actually there, which is really cool here because this is something that comes up very significant later on. I mean, it's significant the entire time, but more so in the story, the idea that right here, finally, Roxy has an out. Somebody that is finally, like, nice to her. Because this lady, she's been here before. She's been doing, questing in the area. She's much more used to the, this actual town and what to sort of avoid. But yeah, she very quickly is like, hey, let me help you out. Oh, you're going to this inn? How much are they charging you? Holy crap, they're totally ripping off. Here, come with me, girl. Like, she just completely just takes Roxy under her wing. And at first, it's funny because this girl won't shut up. And Roxy immediately thinks the worst. Like, oh, this person's a yapper. Like, what is her angle? Well, like, what does she want from me? Like, is she going to try to, swindle me or something like that? Immediately, Roxy's putting on the blocks and trying to defend herself. But this lady really quickly is like, come on, girl. I'm going to take care of you. Takes her to this little inn where you actually have a human running an inn that's, actually nice to demons. This lady brings in Roxy. No, it's fine. I love at first when they first go in there and immediately Maver's like, get this. Oh, you will not believe what's gone on with this poor girl. Well, what happened was like a long time ago, she lost her entire family. And as she's alone, she has nobody to turn to. She gets taken into this laboratory where they start doing experiments on her. But at some point, she escapes the lab. How'd you do that, Roxy? And Roxy's like, you tell me. I don't know. What is the story? How should I know? You just made it up. But no, yeah, she had to like, get money. And so she had to like sell herself on the street line. The innkeeper's like, girl, you shouldn't be doing that at your age. And like, I'm an adult, but at the same time, no, I didn't do that. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. It just turns this whole stupid like storytelling, this fake story to make the innkeeper like super sad and upset about it. And so she's like, I want to take care of you, Roxy. And so this demon folk girl and this lady just completely just brings in Roxy and just takes care of her. Again, significance here is the fact that finally she found that this place isn't just full of bad people. There's a good human here. There's other demon folks that still, deal with the same situation I do, and they found a way around it. This is the stuff that kind of, it sort of helps you, reestablish there's good people in the world. Not everything is horrible. You don't need to destroy the entire town yet. But yeah, it was a cute little thing there, eventually finding out about the innkeeper's daughter and how, she got married off to some man. She'll never forget that man. Getting, Roxy dressed up in a nice, cute waitress outfit. So we get to see Roxy doing her waitress stuff there, which was really great. A little cute little outfit. Of course, everybody treating her like Like, she's pretty much like their children from back at home. Like, it's got this old man's like, you remind me just of this person back at hometown. And yeah, it's also pervert. This guy's flipping up her skirt. Little interesting passing comment here. Not passing comment, but like a correction in the fact that Maver's like, hey girl, when somebody like mistreats you in here, you got to learn how to speak up. And again, this is a girl that's like, I know what you're going through as a demon in a place like this. You feel cornered. And yes, these humans, they're messing with you, and it feels like you can't, like, you know, fight back because you're afraid of being seen as a demon and attacked by everybody. You're trying to keep this, you know, this normalcy without some sort of conflict. But you got to speak up. You have to set those boundaries. Again, otherwise, as she puts it, if you don't learn to stick up for yourself, you're going to end up dead. You can't just let these people keep pushing around, which I kind of agree and disagree. Like, it's like the guard. It's not like she's going to speak up and defend herself against the guard. But yeah, with this person, probably just hoping that guy doesn't run off to the guard and say that they attack me. This is vicious demon folk in there or whatever. But she's got a good point there. But at the same time, it's a really bad place for them to be at. It's like, it's just, again, a no fight zone. You're not allowed to fight back. But yeah, eventually Roxy gets to drinking. We learn from the first point of when Roxy was not a good singer. Of course, the perfect girl, and she has to have something that she's flawed at. It's singing, apparently. Her singing at this point is not good. I like later on she wakes up and she's super happy, and they're like, yeah, man, you got to singing and everything. Oh, you don't remember that you singing? Yeah, well, just, if somebody, you know, bothers you again in the future, just sing for them, okay? Oh, was I that good? Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, whenever somebody, like, pesters her now, she just goes, oh, do you want me to sing? And they go, no, sorry, no, you go back to work, it's okay, we don't need to sing for us. Super cute. But yeah, she's having fun here, you know. She's enjoying her time at this inn, able to kind of relax, do her laundry, helps out the lady, you know, doing the cleaning and everything like that. It's a really good little moment there. Eventually we do get the title drop. The innkeeper eventually at some point says, you are really serious, aren't you? So yes, we had the Roxy gets serious title. Bam. I'm sorry, I was waiting to use that one. But anyway, it says eventually she goes shopping for the innkeeper. We get this little moment where I think this is sort of to what Maver was saying, this idea of kind of pushing back. This cute little moment where Roxy is going to do shopping for this innkeeper. I think it was the same shopkeeper as when she first got there, because she ends up like popping out the bread that this guy gave her when she first arrived and it ended up being burnt. But like with this situation, I think it's the same guy. He's pushing back like, oh, a demon? He's like, yeah, I'm here to get some food for the innkeeper down here. And she's like, oh, she likes, you know, consorting with you demons. He's like, yep, she's a really nice person, isn't she? This guy's like just completely thrown off, like, yes, she is. Okay, here, take this stuff. Here's some vegetables too. Like, you see this guy is not a bad guy. This is sort of like one of those examples I think is to have here is good, where you have like a really positive, you know, natured person like the innkeeper, somebody that's willing to accept all demons. And even mentions later on when she's talking to her that, yeah, I've been around enough, you know, demons to understand they're not all bad. You got some good demons out there. With this guy right here, he's sort of like in the middle area, I think, where you have like the, you know, the guard from the last episode where he's, you know, strangling Roxy and assuming that he's kidnapping. This guy at the shop, I think, is somebody, I think because he's experienced how this innkeeper has accepted people and they've been good people, and the innkeeper's not in trouble. So obviously whoever the demons that she's consorting with aren't hurting her. I think this guy is sort of, he has the assumption that they're bad, and he could have seen bad demons. Who knows? He's in that middle area where he wants to immediately assume bad, but then with this bright smile and this positive nature that Roxy's thrown at him, you know, confirming what he's saying, he's going, yeah, you are good people. Like, I can't express it in front of everybody here, but I know you're not bad. It's a nice little kind of, again, middle area from the positive and the negative side of things. So, but yeah, this is the most important part, though. After she gets a little moment with this guy, even says that he's a nice person, too, because he gave her all this extra stuff. We have Roxy get introduced to crepes. Yes, because in the world of Mushoku Tensei, we, of course, have to have crepes. I don't know if in the mainline series they ever, you know, brought up crepes. I think Rudius, made them at some point, question mark? Especially with Nanahoshi? God, I don't remember. But this is like the first time on this one right here showing crepes. I kind of wonder if crepes even exist in the world. They could. It's just a total Japanese staple. They have to have it in here. But I like this because this is where we first meet, of course, Gadolf. I want to say Gandalf. I legit wrote down in my notes Gandalf because my brain assumed that I was reading Gandalf, but Gadolf. But this little moment right here where she sees this grape stand, she wants to buy one of them, assumes they're going to be good. And when she gets up there, the guy's like, 8 copper. And Gadolf, who just left the stand, comes back to the stand and says, oh, I'm sorry. I underpaid you. Here's the difference. And the shopkeeper's like, no, that was enough. I'm sorry, lady, I misspoke. It's actually 3 copper. It was a cool little moment there where this guy, which we find out later, he's a friend of Maver. This guy legit was like, oh, you're swindling this poor little demon. Let me passively correct the situation by saying, oh, is it supposed to be that? Oh, well, I underpaid you. It was a really clever little moment there. I like that. Roxy goes back to the end. I just legit seen my notes, Gandalf. I forgot to change it the moment I realized it. I still had Gandalf in my freaking notes right there, and I almost read it. I'm going to totally probably say Gandalf later on, just so you guys know. Gadolf and Maver at the end. This is where we find out that this is Maver's partner for 10 years. The two of them have been working together for 10 years. And again, it's a nice little moment here where Roxy's like, wait, so you as a human, you've been grouped up with a demon for 10 years? Is that good? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm supposed to trust my partner. I don't care where she's been from or who she is or what she is. I just care that I trust her. And yes, they've trusted each other for 10 years. Why not? It's a cute little thing there, and it kind of restores Roxy's hope for wanting to find a group. Because I think at this point, she's pretty much given up. She tried back when she was at the dock, but she wasn't able to find anybody that would take her seriously. But even more so now that she's in this country, you assume that she's running into a lot of people that are discriminatory. But yeah, just seeing the two of them kind of getting that little boost of hope to kind of, okay, maybe I want to find somebody else. Maybe I can find somebody that, these two, they're lucky how much they trust each other. I hope I can find somebody like Dale and Nekopara and Blaze again kind of thing. Which didn't work out. Cut to Roxy drinking and going, stupid, naive Roxy, what were you even thinking? It's just nothing but no kids allowed or no demons allowed. Give me more booze, whatever. I just want to drink all day. It's so goofy. Yeah, people saying that they're going to put in a request for Roxy to clean their old lady's house and all this kind of crap. It's like, I'm an A-rank adventurer. You hear me? It was so goofy. But yeah, this is the point in which Maver decides to ask if she wants to join their group. Hey, come join me and Gadolf. Come join our group. Let's go out adventuring. And so they go out to Roxy's first labyrinth. Yep, the first time we're going to be going dungeon diving. And immediately when they get there, Maver's like, whatever you do, don't fall for Gadolf. I think this is like one of those moments where I'm like, I'm assuming she's like, smitten for him and assumes that if, Roxy sees how good he works, she's going to get smitten for him. But it wasn't until he started talking about his eye that I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to get into something about the eye. What exactly is it going to be? That's the question mark. But no, a little bit of interesting lore here. Right off the bat, it seems like Gadolf is a user of fairies. He immediately starts to use this a technique where he calls upon the Great Fairy. And the fairy is something that does help him cast magic. Now, I didn't really get a full sense here what exactly they were implying. I don't necessarily think that it's a case where it's him summoning a fairy, an actual fairy. It could be summoning magic, and the summoning magic is creating a fairy, just like Pedagogus creates his servants. He's creating, not necessarily summoning something, and he could possibly have that. Or it could just be specifically the magic that he's using calls upon a fairy to do the magic. I meant to go back and look at the mainline series. I don't think they ever really mentioned fairies throughout the entire thing, except for like later on with Lucy. Because Lucy heard stories from Rudius about fairies, and she wanted a fairy and come to find out that they don't really exist, but she still likes the idea of fairies. But right here, it's kind of implying that in this lore, there's fairies, but it's not that big of a deal. But it's still kind of cool here, learning some magic from Gadolf that Roxy ends up using while they're fighting and everything, eventually running into another group, that group getting upset they're trying to steal their kill and everything. And again, the entire time, as this, thing comes off his face, this cover for his eye, he's talking about how he's going to keep it under check, eventually come to find out that this is, yes, in fact, as Roxy is feeling like she's absolutely head over heels for him, that he's such a great person. The other party members, as they're getting upset, they're getting doki doki from him too. He's just so freaking handsome, and he's so capable. He's so caring. He doesn't like to turn his back on people that are in danger. Come to find out, yes, he's got an eye of charm. He's got an eye of charm, and this entire time, Roxy was just being charmed by him and wasn't, in fact, in love. It was goofy little bit here. I did like a little bit of the, sort of perspective of Godolph when it comes to those in need, and that he talks about the fact that if I see some people in danger, whereas Roxy thinks that I might be causing problems by doing that, people are upset that I stepped in there and try to save their lives, Godolph's like, you know what? I can weather that. I can weather people being upset at me because I saved them and their pride was hurt, rather than have to live a life, with their blood on my hands. Like having seen them die and I didn't do anything about it. That regret, that horror that I seen that or whatever. That kind of feeling, I can totally get that. I totally get that. But no, after they get back to the town, we kind of find out that, in fact, Roxy thinks that might be her first love. That yes, when they get back to town, somebody's asking Godolph to join their group, and Godolph is like, you know what? Nah, that's fine. I got a party. But I know somebody that is capable that can help you out, and that's Roxy here. And it's one of those moments where Roxy assumed that, yes, I would never be able to get another group if you weren't with me. This guy came to Godolph for a job, and the guy's like, no, Roxy's capable. And the guy's like, oh, your word means a lot. I'll definitely trust you. Okay, we'll take Roxy instead. There's a little moment where Roxy realized that, yeah, without him being here, I probably would never have this guy even think about hiring me. But at the same time, kind of the fact of here having him sort of express that this is no lie, I only spoke the truth. You are very talented. You're very good at what you do. Kind of gives Roxy a little bit of that sense of, oh, wait, no, it wasn't the eye. I really do like this guy. Godolph's really a cool guy, and I'm kind of feeling doki doki for him for real this time. But it's cute because we get this little scene with, Maver, trying to figure out if she'd ever really, get across to him that she actually likes him. Because I think this is sort of, she acknowledges it. This is sort of the problem that comes with Godolph and what he has with this eye. He has this eye of charming. So what comes with that? This idea that you think that everybody that loves you probably loves you because of that eye. Maver's assuming that if I were to confess to him, he's not going to think that it's legit. He's going to think it's the eye doing it. And that's the fear that she has there. She doesn't know what to do with it. Which we find out that, yes, after she passes out, Godolph comes in there and takes care of her. Has a smile on his face. It's like, Roxy's like, I lost. Ain't no way I'm going to get between them. As much as I think that I do like this Godolph guy, these two right here are definitely a pair. It was cute. I think that Godolph and Maver's little couple there was a really cute little story. I liked it. But now that's when we cut to the current time. And we kind of find out that Rudius is not liking the story right now. This is the point in which Rudius finds out that, in fact, he was not Roxy's first love. That, in fact, it was Godolph, and he don't like hearing about it. He's sitting there pouting. He's getting all mad. Getting all petty and jealous right there, sitting there. Like how Aisha kind of puts it, the fact that, well, you don't understand. When it comes to men, they want to be a woman's first love, but when it comes to girls, they want to be a man's last romance. It's so goofy. It was a goofy little bit here, and Rudy is being super petty and everything like that, but Roxy's like, no, if anything, I wish I could have been your childhood friend back in the day. Just like Sylphie was. I always wish that I could be that. But I do like this because this is sort of something I don't think I talked about last Mushoku Monday, but there is, again, one of those funny parallels between Rudius and Roxy and I almost want to say Vlad again. Can't. And the idea that Kant doesn't like Roxy calling her master. And then right here, this is the same situation. That Roxy doesn't like the idea that Rudius keeps calling her teacher. Like, when are you going to stop calling me that? When are you going to stop calling me that? It's so goofy. Anyways, it pretty much wraps up that conversation with the acknowledgement that, yeah, Milshin is, in fact, still miserable back then as it was today. And Roxy, all she could think of was, yeah, it was really hard to save money because she keeps buying sweets. But no, we cut over to a conversation with Godolph and Maver about the fact that, she's trying to learn higher magic, that she's trying to do something magic, but it's not working out too well. And this is the part where we're kind of finally introducing the idea of, going off to all the central continent and everything, going over there to, Rinoa and Asura in order to learn about magic, which, of course, Asura being a key thing there because that's where Master's from. That's where my teacher's from. That's where I got to go there. But I love this because this is where Gadolf and Maver kind of acknowledge that care that, her teacher had for her. And again, this is another one of those parallel moments that kind of click for me in the fact that, Maver's like, oh, looking at this book that your teacher left you, which was the intermediate spell book, this book that she left you, it's obvious a sign here that she really cared about you. Looking at all the notes that she put in there, it's like it's saying, even after I'm gone, I'll be there with you, Roxy. And I'm like, this is totally Rudeus and Roxy. Again, another parallel there, which again is another really cool sign that this author obviously read Mushoku Tensei. This isn't somebody that just made some random, side story that has no connection to the mainline series. They obviously know what they're talking about here. That feels like a direct call to the book that Roxy made for Rudeus. The one that had all those notes in it, explains everything about the demon folk and everything like that, what to look out for, all that kind of stuff. It's super good. It's super good. But anyways, yes, this is the point where they all have to say their goodbyes. Maver's like, yep, I knew you were going to leave eventually. You had that look on your face like you had somewhere to be. Goes to the innkeeper, has a little, moment to say goodbye to the innkeeper. Again, really did find that she was a good person that took care of her. A little sweet little thing there. But that's where we get on the road again. We have Roxy on the road again, heading to the central continent, where eventually we meet, yes, the poet. The poet. I don't think they ever gave them a name. I think the more odd thing about the poet is that I don't think that they ever... It wasn't until way later that it actually brings up the fact that they were a demon folk. I had no indication early on this was a demon folk. It's just that they were sitting there singing, and this little scene when they first introduced the poet is they're sitting there playing this song, and they're realizing that nobody around them really cares about the song they're playing. They played it too many times. They got to find a new muse, which eventually leads to them wanting to follow Roxy around. But as they're sitting there singing the song and thinking about this, in the background, you constantly see Roxy's trying to find the guild. She keeps going around and then ends up back in the central area and asks somebody else, where's the guild? Oh, it's that way? Okay. And then a few seconds later, she's back in the area again. She keeps coming back. It was cute. But yes, at some point, some guy steals some stuff, including something from the poet, and Roxy stops them. And so they're like, oh, I got my new muse. I got to follow around this girl and get the stories from her about her adventuring and stuff like that. And it kind of turns this whole thing where the poet themselves, the way they sort of view music and whatnot, or at least what they want to tell, the stories that they want to tell to people as a bard, is that they want to, bard or poet, whatever, they use different terminology the entire time. I'm going to say poet. To do their music as a poet, they want to know more about the story, what the person is sort of thinking, what they're feeling, their entire life. They want to know the ins and outs of their subject. If you want to just hear a story, go read a book. But I want to tell the tales with the emotion and everything that I need to understand about the characters, that kind of thing. Which Roxy doesn't like, because Roxy doesn't want to be bothered by this person. just does not want to be bothered by this person. Leave me alone. No, I don't want this. But at some point, she ends up getting drunk and ends up in the bed with the poet the next morning. She's just this person just keeps following her around and just getting drunk with her and everything. But that's when we cut to the road to Sanakia. Again, this poet following her around. This is the point in which I think Roxy finally opens up to the poet, and the fact that the poet again expresses that they don't just want to tell stories, they want to understand the stories and tell it properly, which clicks for Roxy because this sort of reminds her of Kant. Kant was in that mindset where she wanted to tell stories of the people and the places that she went to by experiencing them herself. And similar to the poet, even if that's going to bother people, she's going to find out and get the information that she wants, no matter what. And so, yeah, Roxy decides to open up to this poet. We get a boar attack, and that's when we find out the poet doesn't know how to fight. She's like, I don't know how you survived this long. I have my ways. Eventually we get some thieves that show up, and they attack Roxy and the poet. While the poet is singing their song, Roxy beats them up. I think this is the part where I started really liking the poet with Roxy, because it's just constant thing where she makes up the most absurd lyrics to her music, and it absolutely annoys Roxy, but at the same time she doesn't do anything about it. She never fights back against the poet. She just expresses her frustration and kind of moves on, and the poet just keeps following her around. And every single time they get in some sort of fight or something like that, or some difficult situation, the poet just starts singing something that really annoys Roxy at the same time. She's just singing this song about these guys getting their butt kicks, and Roxy's like just kicks all their butts. It's so good. It's so good. But no, this is where we get into the big heavy hitter moment of this segment of chapters. At some point, they run into a wandering merchant. The merchant only has one guard. The horse is injured. The guy pays Roxy in order to heal the horse. She's like, I'm going to have to pay, charge you, whatever. She then offers our service. The guy didn't have much money, so she's like, well, if we can, ride in the back of the carriage, it'll be even. As they're traveling, eventually, the same bandits, same group, at least, of bandits and thieves attack the carriage. And quickly, Roxy springs into action, is handling it pretty well, tying down some folks, she got the upper hand and everything like that, until eventually a guy takes the girl that was in the carriage hostage. And Roxy, trying to save her life, decides to fire a water ball at the guy to shoot him in the shoulder so the guy can't harm the girl. And somebody else grabs her cloak. And she slips backwards, aims just a little off to the side, completely vaporized the guy's face. Gone. Gone. Oops. Oops. No, this is crazy because the way this is portrayed is like kind of haunting, because this is a shock to Roxy, obviously. Like, holy crap. What did I just do? What happened? And it's crazy the way that it shows this, because Roxy walks up to there and just kneels down next to the body, and she's just casting healing. She's legit just sitting there casting healing on this guy. Like, she's going to heal his missing head. And the poet's like, Roxy, my girl, what are you doing? He's dead. And Roxy's like, what are you talking about? I'm healing him. Really screwed up. Again, really screwed up. Just the impact that has on Roxy. Now, here was the interesting thing. Because when that moment happened, I was legit about to put in my notes, Roxy's first kill. This was the first one. No, come to find out, this was not her first kill, which is is very interesting to me. I think it's cool if you think about it, why this is the first time they even mention a kill. You would think in this storyline, Roxy's first time killing somebody would be important, right? There's a reason why it's not really addressed until now, and that's because legit in the story, Roxy didn't see anything about it. It just, whatever. The first time I killed somebody, shrug. It didn't affect her at all. There was no feeling of remorse. There was no impact to her. It's not until legit now that taking a life means anything to Roxy. And that's what we get into. As now she's kind of distraught about this. She doesn't know why. They're going to the town. They're turning in the bodies. they legit get paid for the people they took down. And they're at a diner, and she's distraught. And the poet's prodding at her. Hey, don't worry about it. We don't have to go over there until tomorrow. They have to process the bodies and everything, the rewards, the kills, all that kind of stuff. And eventually she realized, wait. Roxy, my girl, is this your first kill? It is, isn't it? Well, congratulations. You did it. You popped your cherry, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually, no. Roxy's like, no, you got the wrong idea. That wasn't the first time. I've killed before. It gets in the idea that back on the Demon Continent, I deceived someone. They thought that I was a child, and I took advantage of that. It did imply at some point, when she was talking to Rudius in the mainline series, that one of her kills involved the fact that somebody was forcing themselves upon her, and she killed somebody, which we haven't talked about that yet. They're talking about something else, and the fact that at some point, these two guys, they took advantage of Roxy and her party. Hawkindale, Nokopada, and Blaze. They swindled them out of money, and they were laughing about it haha, no, you guys were just too stupid. You let us swindle you or whatever. But at some point, they were getting mad, saying, no, you pay us back the money, or something's going to happen to you. Blaze is getting all worked up. Nokopada is getting all worked up. And at some point, Roxy's like, you guys are getting way too heated. And the guys, in response to them, says, oh, you're a bunch of kids that wet yourself, including that girl right there that hasn't even had her period yet. And that sets Roxy off. She's mad. And Hawkdale's like, oh, crap, you made her mad. cut over and they're dead in an alley. That was more shocking to me than the fact that she killed that thief. Is the fact that the guy made fun of the fact that she hasn't had her period yet, and they murder them. They legit cut them up in an alleyway, and they're walking away laughing. I'm like, what? Wait, go back. Wait, what? Wait, we gotta talk about this. But again, this is to the credit of the writing here, is that it's going out of its way to point out this was just normal to them. I thought at first that they were sort of putting it in the perspective that it's more of a mob mentality. That because Roxy was with Nokopata, Hawkendale, and Blaze, it didn't have impact on her because as a group, as a mob, they killed something. Like what you get with like a riot. That people normally, they won't cause violence or attack somebody. It's just because they have a group, it causes you to kind of get swept up in the group, and you will move as a group because you have less impact of yourself doing it alone. You have a group with you. It's like there's less responsibility weighing upon your mind, and you get swept up in the group. And I thought that was potentially what they were getting into here, was that Roxy just kind of flows with Hawkendale and Nokopata and Blaze and just kills and doesn't feel that much regret from it. But it's just strictly what they're getting into here is the fact that back then, it didn't impact her because she didn't know the value of a life, basically. She didn't know what it was like to lose somebody. She didn't know the fear of death or anything because she always had Hawkendale, Nokopata, and Blaze. It was just, that's how it was. What changed is that Hawkendale died. That was what it was. I didn't know what it was like to lose someone that I cared about. What it was like to feel loss, to feel fear. Seeing Hawkendale dead, that's suddenly what triggered that for her. Now when she sees a person that died or whatever, now she's got this feeling of like, but what if there was somebody that's waiting for them? What if somebody is, sorrowful because they're dead? That kind of thing is now hitting her. She's now realized that there's people behind every individual that she's encountering. Even though, yes, this poet's like, what are you talking about? It's either me or them. If I had a choice, I'm going to kill them first. I don't need them in my life. Some dude that's attacking some poor innocent kid. What are you talking about? And I do like the fact that she's still pressing upon Roxy, like, if you went back there, are you going to change anything though? If you could start over, would you have used your spells? No, I probably still would have done it. Roxy still, at least at this point, acknowledges that even though it does hurt, even though there is that impact that's now hitting her, she does acknowledge that in the end, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have still done the same thing. I like the little quote towards the later part, and it sort of does give credit to this entire scene because, poet's saying the right stuff. I agree with her. Like, it's me or them. Like, in the end of the day, it's me or them. Roxy, I agree too, because the idea that, yes, these people have families at home. And there's even plenty of times in the mainline series and the side stories of Mushoku Tensei where it does address the idea that some people, they have no choice but to be bandits. Their kingdoms are falling apart. They don't have enough fundings. There's just no supplies for their family, and some of them are trying to feed their families or whatever, which doesn't make it right, again, but still, that's what she's sort of addressing here. In the end, she says, there's no right answer to this dilemma. To live is to live for your own self and kill anything that threatens it. But sometimes, what you want for yourself is the same as what's good for other people. I'll protect myself, but I'll still save others. It's sort of like a happy in-between. It's what Roxy was talking about and sort of what Poet is saying. You got to work with it. Again, good little segment. Good little segment. Again, this is where I was talking about with the last Mushoku Monday was like, I feel like we don't get enough of these like inner turmoil and psychological elements of the characters. Finally. Finally we get it. Again, a complete ignoring of the fact that she's killed before now suddenly is impacted by it. Why? I experienced loss, finally. And now I can't dream of the idea of taking that from somebody else. Taking the life from somebody else. But no, it was cute wrapping up that scene with the fact that she had all those little sweets and trying to find out the lady, the mother of the kid, paid for the tab, as a gratitude for saving their child. It was cute. It was cute. But anyways, that's when we adventure into the King Dragon realm, where we find out that quests there, very lucrative. It didn't dawn on me at the time. I completely forgot about it. But yeah, there's like all these vassal states there, and they're all like having political conflicts with each other. So as the poet puts it, some of these jobs that are paying a lot is because you're going to get involved with a lot of really messy stuff, which is great, right? She's sitting here egging on Roxy like, no, take the quest. It's going to be really messy. And I need it. I need that information. I need to see what you do. Like, she just wants this next great song and everything like that. But no, she ends up finding a really good paying job. And that is to escort a princess. I'm sorry. The moment I seen this girl pop up, Fia, pop up, I'm like, it's Saber. Like, we have Saber in Mushoku Tensei. She was really cute. I really like the design of Fia. Really, really cute. But no, at some point, there's this S-rank adventurer that pops up at the front counter and says, what? I can't take this quest alone? Okay, well, you boy, right there. Huh? Yeah, you're going to join me. They're like, no, that the rules specifically say it's females only. God, there's so many rules to this thing. Fine, then you there. And Roxy's like, what the hell are you talking about? You gonna join me? The quest lady just comes over and just hands Roxy the paperwork. The front page is like, go find these herbs. And the second page is, this is an order from the throne. You cannot deny it. The adventure lady was like, totally like, just handed the paperwork and she can't do anything about it. It's out of my hands. You gotta do it. It says it on the second page. Read the second page. That was so dorky. The fact that like she gets roped into this like decree from the throne. You have to escort this princess. You must not reveal anything about her, and you have to accept this. Otherwise, you get beheaded, basically. But no, I love this whole bit was so freaking funny. It's just the fact that Roxy's having to follow this lady. The entire time the poet's loving it. They're walking around with this Fia lady and she's just insulting every single stand that she's running into because she's this... It implies that she's always been cooped up in the castle. Like, she's never been able to even enter the streets. She's never, ever left the gates. Like, this is her first time ever getting outside. And so she just treats people horribly, just constantly insulting the different shops and whatnot. Eventually, Roxy's like realizing this girl's wobbling around because she has like way too thick of armor. So she takes her to this little weapons shop, this little armor shop, and is like, hey, look, you got to change out your outfit. Get a small weapon like a dagger or a short sword because you can't wield that big long sword, and get some leather armor. You cannot wear that thick plate. It's like, no. It's the perfect arm. What are you talking about? All right, let's go out back. Roxy takes this princess out back and beats the crap out of her. She's like, okay, let's go. Start the duel. And the princess is like trying to get the sword out because she can't like pull the sword completely out. And Roxy just goes over and clunks her on the head with her staff. How dare you? You have to wait till swords are drawn before you start the duel. Okay, go ahead and start. Roar, like completely parries the attack, knocks the sword up in the air, and it cuts the lady on the side of the face. I love this scene so much. I laugh so much. Roxy's like, she says like the most profound thing. It's important that you're completely ready for battle. And the thing to do that is to make sure that your equipment best suits you. You could have the best armor. You can have the best weapons. You can have magic weapons and everything. But if you can't wield them properly, they're useless. It's best that you use things that suit you. And a short sword and leather armor suits you. I need to be able to trust you in combat. I need to know that you have my back. That you have the perfect equipment for yourself. That's what a party's about, right? And the entire time she's healing Fia's face because the sword came down and cut her cheek, which is like, damn. So apparently the sword was really sharp. She's like healing her cheek, and then suddenly the girl goes, "You are absolutely right. Thank you for explaining that properly." Runs off. "Sir, please give me that armor and give me that sword over there." And then Roxy's like, "We're not gonna get executed." I just injured this princess's face. Please tell me we're not gonna get executed. The poet's like, probably are. I like later on this little comment that the poet made of like, you know, innocent until proven guilty or something like that. The entire time the poet is just loving this. But no, Roxy's just like, I'm gonna die, aren't I? I just injured her face. They're legit going to execute me. It's like later on when they turn in the quest and everything. It's like, did you get injured or anything? Nope, it was easy. I was like, phew. Okay, I'm not gonna die. It was goofy. That whole bit was super cute. But yeah, they eventually go to a bookstore where Roxy's known the fact that this country, there's bookstores everywhere. And yeah, the only reason that the princess is there is because she's looking for smut. I heard from the ladies in waitings, or at least people that work with them, that there's these books here that are really juicy. And Roxy's like, no, we cannot be reading that. They'll get mad if they find out that I let you read that stuff. Again, innocent until proven guilty. Eventually they go out and they do their little quest, and Roxy ends up getting more than she, so she gets upset at the idea that somebody's outdoing her, so she feels like she's got to find more. And again, it turns the idea that, getting across to this lady that it's not about who gets the most. As a party, we work together kind of thing, It was a cute little bit there, and it kind of culminates to Fia turning in the quest and, really appreciating Roxy for all the stuff that she showed her. It gets into the fact that this is a princess that was married off. The poet mentioned the fact that this is a princess that is supposed to be married off to a country that they're in conflict with. It's in order to kind of, resolve a dispute they were having. So just like a lot of princesses, this is what their fate usually ends up being. Just basically a political tool. This little moment with Roxy is probably this really nice little memory that she's going to have. This last little memory that she has in this kingdom. It was cute. I really liked little Fia's story. Anywho, following this whole ordeal, we end up parting ways with Poet. The poet's like, I'm good. Got everything I need. Peace out, Roxy. She's like, wow, she just kind of disappeared as quickly as she came. But at this point, Roxy ends up traveling off into Asura, ends up getting to see the beautiful wheat fields that her master always talked about. Eventually goes to the capital city, where, yes, she discovers how really hard it is to find jobs for an adventurer in that area. All the monsters, like no monsters that show up. The guards handle everything. The merchants have their own people they work with. There ain't no work. And yeah, everything costs a lot. So she's not really sure what the hell she's going to end up doing there. Until eventually, she ends up hearing somebody yell out for her master, Bloody Can't. And come to find out, this person is in fact her publisher. Yes, Bloody Can't is your trope author character that is trying to give literally everybody involved in her publication the slip. Constantly hiding from her editor and her publisher and everybody, trying to keep away as all these deadlines pile up. And this turns this whole thing where this publisher is trying to get with Roxy to help her find out why Cant's not doing that, find out where she's at, and try to get her to do her work. Eventually, Roxy finds her, locks her up, tells her she has to write her book, all the while trying to find out what made her lose her desire. Like, everything points to the fact that Bloody Can't really wanted to tell this story. Yeah, this girl, Arhelia, whatever her name is, the publisher, she's like, yeah, when she first arrived, she had a great idea here. The boss was all for it. Now the boss is like, we're probably going to have to cut it. She looked like she was passionate about this idea of telling the story, telling all the places that she viewed what made her lose her desire. And yeah, Roxy ends up finding like a draft of it. It looks good. What's going on? What caused her to lose what she was desiring for? Yeah, there's a little bit in here where it's talking about how Roxy doesn't feel like Can't remembers her. It was that whole like moment where it was special for me. Was that just like a side note in her story? Does she even remember who I was? She ends up remembering who she was. But yeah, this gets into, again, finding the reasoning. And that's because eventually at some point, Roxy kind of corners her and, asks her what she thought about the Demon Continent. And this is really cool. I like Cant's response here. Talk about how, like, yeah, for a foreigner, a human, yeah, it makes sense you get there. They look barbarous. Like, these are, harsh conditions and everything, but that's probably why they sort of, molded their existence and their way of life around it, is in order to survive. You think they're barbarous, but that's just their way of life. It's harsh conditions, all that kind of stuff. But yes, also acknowledges that, these people here, they don't lack sympathy. Demons don't lack sympathy. They're good people. You can't lump them together blindly. But she, at the same time, also acknowledges why humans do that. And that's really because there's very little opportunities for humans and demons to commingle. And Roxy agrees with that. Yeah, it's been like 400 years since that whole war, and people are still like doing this discrimination. There's still like this conflict that's happening. It's because people don't have a moment to get together. Roxy, through her experiences and traveling over here, has sort of got to see that. Whereas I was in the Demon Continent and you never seen humans over there. And now I slowly went into the human realm and I started slowly seeing that conflict increase. The more you get away from the Demon Continent where everything's demon, you start to see more of that conflict. I've seen good people in Milshin, but I also seen a lot of bad people. The people that were good, what were they doing? they were commingling. The innkeeper was commingling with Maver. And that's why when I got to meet the innkeeper, she was more welcoming to me. Again, the shop owner, who was, had the stuff for the innkeeper, he seemed to be wanting to accept Roxy because he's probably interacted with Maver before. And again, he's interacted with this innkeeper that has been interacting with Maver. There's this element where there's an understanding why there's discrimination, that there was this conflict, but in order to get over that conflict and to get away from that discrimination, you have to commingle. You have to learn how to understand each other. And again, that's for me personally something that I've experienced. I grew up in an area that was, had quite a bit of Mexicans, and I moved into an area that had like a pretty big chunk that were African American. And there's culture shocks when you immediately get there. But very quickly, you learn about the culture. You learn about the people. You learn boundaries. You learn how to communicate with those people. Because everybody has sort of different lived experiences. You have to learn how to navigate certain things. Learn not what to say. Learn what to say. That kind of stuff. Can't acknowledge that through her travels. And Roxy as well has learned that over her travels. But that leads into Roxy saying, that's exactly why you got to publish that book. You got to tell people about your travels. You got to lessen the discrimination against demonkind by making that book. But Kant says, I wonder that. I'm not just going to be writing about the good stuff. I may unintentionally reinforce prejudices, or I might inflame hearts with greed. And this is where she brings up a lie. Roxy Magurdia of the Midgard tribe. Your tribe has been destroyed. I told some guy, some noble, about your town, and they went in there and enslaved everybody, and I made a good penny out of it. What? And that pisses off Roxy. She slaps her and runs off. When I read that, I'm like, wait, what? Is the next volume going to be Roxy has to go back to her hometown and free her family? Like, I don't remember anything about this in the mainline in the series that her town got enslaved and she had to, free them and everything. We're jumping a shark right now. What the hell is going on? No, come to find out, it's a lie. Eventually, Kant finds Roxy in the bar and says that was a lie. That didn't really happen. But it's a good point. Kant's trying to teach Roxy a lesson, or at least brute force tell Roxy why she doesn't want to write her book. That's when we get the story of the Chilka race. I don't think they've ever mentioned a Chilka race in the mainline series. But I seem to want to remember that somewhere in the background, in at least the anime, we've seen one of these people. Now, the only description we really have is the fact that they glow, which I doubt they're going to show them glowing, but also the fact that they have a flower in their hair, and that could just be a hair dress piece. Like they have a clip in their hair that has a flower on or something like that. But I kind of want to go back and watch the anime, see if I can find a reference in there to the Chilka race. But they sound cool. But anyways, yes, she says the whole thing about the Midgard tribe was a lie, but something similar happened. The tribe of the Chilka race, they're like humans that only need water, earth, and sun to live. They develop a flower on their heads, and it blossoms to grant them plant-like abilities. But eventually, they begin to glow, and eventually, they learn to suppress it. But yes, pretty much for the most part, all the children, once it blossoms, they're just going around glowing. But again, the parents, as they get older, when they get to being adults, they know how to handle it, whatever. But anyways, yeah, she didn't think anything of it. Yeah, you technically could, cut their hair and it would glow or whatever, but what would be the point in getting something like that? So Kant apparently told the story about this whole thing. But then she discovered there was a recipe for a cure that calls for a full blossom flower cut from a glowing Chilka, which would imply it has to be a kid. You would have to find a kid, capture them, and cut the blossom from their head. Silly trivia that I wrote about ended up in the wrong hands. Basically, by writing about this, people went out and they hunted down this entire tribe. She literally got this entire tribe wiped out because she wrote about this. That's why she doesn't want to write anymore. She doesn't want to tell about the Midgard tribe, because what if somebody really likes the idea of long-lived people and decides they're going to go ahead and hunt down, the Midgard tribe and find out what makes them live so long? I mean, that would technically work for, the immortal demon kings and stuff like that, which technically we did have the mainline series. Body Gotti did offer up one of his limbs for them to researched or whatever. That does technically happen, but that's what she's going through here. I did this once. It was just supposed to be trivia in my books. End up turning into this entire tribe being wiped out. But yeah, following this, Roxy does sort of agree with this whole thing. That yeah, I can see it being something that would hurt you. Yeah, I wrote about this tribe and end up getting completely taken out. But still, in the end, Roxy's happy that it wasn't the bigger tribe. Which makes her kind of wonder, why am I happy about that? Is this why people don't like the demons? Is this way of thinking about the fact that it didn't harm me, so I'm fine with it? Oh, it was a Chilka tribe. Oh, good. It wasn't my tribe. Is that why people hate the demons? But, kind of brings up the question mark, why was she upset? Why was Roxy, somebody who wanted to get away from her tribe so badly, why was she upset? Why was she angry that she said I got the entire tribe enslaved? I don't know, Roxy. Maybe it's because you really do care about your parents and you really didn't want them to get hurt. It's one of those moments where she doesn't really understand how much she really loves her family. It's one of those moments. But anyways, following this, she decides to see if she could help her master forget about her troubles by getting her drunk. And so she gets a bunch of liquor and helps her have a good little party. And eventually they see a light on the other side of the street through the window. And that light ends up hopping across the street into a nearby window in the same building as them, which they go in there to kind of find out there's a Chilka in their building. The glowing light was a Chilka. This is one of those, for sure, way too convenient. Way too convenient writing right here. I'm sorry. Shoko Iwami, I forgot your name. Shoko Iwami, I'm sorry. Super convenient that they just talked about the Chilka race being wiped out, and then just so happens one comes jumping in their window. But yeah, there was a group that was looking for her, so they end up helping her hide and kind of find out pretty much all of the worries that Kant has about wiping out the Chilka race wasn't true. This whole bit was stupid because we just got done with the fact that, again, Kant is stopping writing because she feels like she got an entire race wiped out. They were getting, swooped up and these flowers ripped off their head and they just die. This lady's like, oh, that whole story. No, it's cool. I mean, do you want the flower? You can have it. Like, you want to just chop it off. You can take it. It would help me blend in more. It's not like I would die if I lose the flower. Oh yeah, that whole story about the cure-all for the flower. Oh, that was for hemorrhoids. You didn't cause this whole problem. Like, it's a good point here too. This girl's like, wait, you wrote about us and you think that you caused our entire group to get wiped out? Yeah, it was crazy that some soldiers came by there at some point, but that just allowed me to get out of the forest. I got to get away from that freaking town. I got to come in the city. I like the city. I'm after this boy that's across the street. I'm stalking him right now. This girl's like, you didn't cause our group to get wiped out. I mean, how'd you find our village? You probably read about us somewhere else, right? You're not the only one that knows where we're at. If you want to help us out, write about us. Go ahead. Just make sure to make the whole bit about the hemorrhoid medicine a lot bigger, if you don't mind, so they know what our flower is going to do for them. But yeah, sure, you can have the flower. Go ahead and have it. It's not like I'm going to die if you get removed. Again, it's like this whole moment where Roxy is kind of like, oh, so this story was just a lie. Oh, wait, so it's not as bad as you make it out to be. Oh, wait, it was hemorrhoids? It's just a stupid little thing. It's a cute end to, again, a trauma that Kant had. This is something that she wrote about and she felt responsible for. There's a lot of power in what I write about. It potentially give certain bad people some sort of direction where to go, how to find these people, and to fulfill some desire they have, or to, with this situation, find this ingredient that they want. Anyways, following this whole thing, we have a little parting moment with Roxy and Kant thanking Roxy for helping her out. Talk about the fact that after she finished writing about all these locations, she's looking forward to writing a book about people. Specifically people that are important people or heroes, including Roxy. Roxy's the hero that helped her want to write again, so she's a hero for her. So it was cute. Gave her her hat. So we find out where Roxy got her hat from. It was from Bloody Kant. Plant gave her her first hat, and again sent her on her way to go to the University of Magic with a little bit of a letter of recommendation. So that's where Roxy's going to be heading to next. I'm guessing going into Volume 5, potentially we'll go into the Magic University. But no, the last comment that was made in Volume 4, that's the part that I kind of want to break down. As Roxy leaves, Bloody Kant is sitting there thinking to herself, says, in the end of the day, I just want to write. If I learn something that leads to others' profits, and I think that one would suffer because of it, then all I need to do is tell my publisher that I'll keep it to myself. Which makes sense, right? Like the whole situation with, the Midgard village. Okay, if there's something about the Midgard village that, some noble would be like, oh, they do this ritual and they possibly have this thing that I need that will make me a lot of money, just omit that part. That's easily what they can easily do. Makes sense, right? Got that. Things ended well this time, but I know it won't always be that easy in the future. But the two of them both told me, you have to write that, and that drives me on. I'm just going to write what I want to write. Roxy, the human race, can be pretty sly and cruel too. I'm guessing this is the idea that while she does appreciate what Roxy has done for her and gave her that encouragement to push forward, and again, this Chilka with Roxy, the both of them are saying, no, write it. The Chilka says, no, write it. Roxy says, no, write the Magurdians. These people are giving the permission here, and I can write it, and I will write it, but I don't think Roxy realizes how nasty humans can be. I got the okay, but something bad might happen from this, and I'll write it. That's sort of what I'm getting impression from that last little moment there. It's the idea that I think Roxy, while she did encourage me, she doesn't realize the weight of what I'm doing. Again, this whole thing with the Chilka sort of did reassure me, but it could still happen. That's sort of what I'm getting from that. But that was pretty much the wrap of the volume. Other than that, during this entire time with Master, we did have a brief moment where she does go off to the Mages Guild, get the introduction to the Mages Guild, and I like how when she arrives there, they're like, oh yeah, here's all these scrolls and all these different tomes that you can get into. Here, you want a suggestion? Well, how about this scroll right here? Ooh, this looks great. How much is this? Oh, it's like this much money. God, that's like a stay at the end. 3 silver coins or whatever. And she's like, oh, well, it's a discount if you're part of the Mage Guild. Sign me up. Like, no hesitations, Rock. Like, sign me up. Right here, I'll go. Come on, right here. Oh, well, it takes a membership and it costs this much. Oh, it's going to cost just as much to sign up. Is dorky. And then that lays into the idea of talking about the university and how the university will, if you pass there, you get right into it. So it's kind of like this little, because you want to learn about magic, it's going to cost this much. But if you go to the University of Magic, you'll learn about magic. But at the same time, you'll also get into the Mages Guild, which then allow you to get more scrolls for a cheaper cost. Plus, also, you'll be able to get a lot of better jobs in, the capital here, because they have their own board that has B missions there, but you can't access those unless you're part of the Mages Guild. Is this big pyramid scheme? Roxy's discovering this big Mages Guild pyramid scheme that's happening here. It's goofy. Anyways, I think that's pretty much everything. My gosh, I cannot believe I got through all that. Got a little messy towards the second part there, because it kind of does jump around a lot once she meets her master. But I kind of wanted to keep to the main point of that, which is around the master and why she was so driven away from writing, which is, again, stark contrast to what Roxy's seen in her master, that she was so about telling the world about all the places she's seen, all different cultures. She loves seeing how different the cultures are and, how they survive. And even though they look barbarish, that's their own culture, and it's how they survive and all this stuff. Why this thing that she wants to tell so much about, why is she suddenly kind of shying away from it? Oh, it's just fear of destroying it. I discovered something so beautiful, and by writing about it, even though it's like trivia to me, somebody's gonna be like, oh, that cure-all medicine from that flower. Hunt him down. Destroy the entire group. That's a fear that she has, which is kind of genuine there. So it was cool getting into that, and again, diving into Roxy's resolve for it, even though, again, it's kind of goofy with the whole Chilka. The Chilka look cute. I like my tan girls. So anyways, that is volume 3 and 4 of Roxy Gets Serious. Again, another long recording, but a very good recording. So I'm looking forward to, for once, having decently easy edits to do. Last week, the edit was really easy and very quick to the point. I'm kind of mixed on adding the whole, manga panels on the screen because it's like a lot of things to add to the video itself. But some of them I do want to kind of add there, but hopefully the end result is something that you all appreciate and enjoy. So that said, that is it for this Mushoku Monday. I hope you guys enjoy this Mushoku Monday. As always a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate you guys' support and all your kind words. Most importantly, I greatly appreciate everybody's support channel, monetary, through Patreon, tips, links, super thanks, memberships, all that stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But until the next Mushoku Monday, until the next Roxy gets serious, I'll take care.